Two lives, same city, same paycheck. 10 years later, opposite worlds. It isn't luck. It isn't genius. It's quiet choices that compound every day. One person chases bills and buys status. The other buys time and builds systems. From the same starting line, a canyon opens. Because tiny decisions about money, time, and risk stack. Tonight, I'll show you the split and how to cross it. Starting now. Let's break it down. The poor chase money. The rich build systems. Most people wake up every day asking, how can I earn more? The wealthy wake up asking, how can I make what I already earned work for me? That's the first divide. Poor people trade time for money. Rich people trade money for time. One side works for income. The other builds income that works for them. But it's not about privilege. It's about perspective. Take two coworkers at the same job. One gets a raise and immediately upgrades their car, their apartment, their wardrobe. The other gets the same raise and instead buys time. They invest. They learn. They create something that can earn while they sleep. One spends to look rich. The other invests to become rich. This difference shows up everywhere. It's in how they view risk, how they handle opportunity, and how they think about time. The poor see risk as something to avoid. The rich see it as something to manage. Let me tell you a quick story. A man named James worked as a mechanic. Every Friday, he'd cash his check, pay his bills, and spend whatever was left by Monday. His friend David worked the same job, same pay. But David lived differently. Every paycheck he took a small amount, even when it hurt, and put it towards something that could grow. Stocks, equipment, skills. 10 years later, they were still friends, but their lives looked nothing alike. James had worked every day, weekends included, and had nothing to show but bills and exhaustion. David owned a small repair shop. His tools made money even when he wasn't there. They both worked hard, but only one worked smart. That's the real separation. Hard work alone doesn't make you rich. Leverage does. Leverage is the force that multiplies effort. It's when your money, your knowledge, or your systems keep working without you needing to be there. Poor people think in hours. Rich people think in assets. The poor say, I can't afford it. The rich ask, how can I afford it? Not because they're delusional, but because the question itself opens new pathways in the mind. One statement shuts the door, the other looks for windows. But mindset alone isn't enough. You can think like the rich all day long. If your actions don't align, nothing changes. The next difference is discipline. The rich don't necessarily make better decisions. They just make the right ones consistently. They're patient. They understand compounding, not just in money, but in habits. Poor habits compound too. Overspending, instant gratification, ignoring financial literacy. They grow like weeds. A person who buys coffee every morning might not notice the $6. But over 10 years, that's $22,000, enough for a car or a down payment on a property. It's not about deprivation, it's about awareness. Rich people pay attention to where every dollar goes, not because they're cheap, but because they respect money. They treat it like a worker, one that either brings back friends or disappears forever. There's another thing that separates them, education, but not the kind you're thinking of. The rich never stop learning. They read books, listen to podcasts, take courses, watch videos like this one. The poor often believe they're done learning once school ends. But the world doesn't stop evolving. Technology changes, markets shift, the people who adapt fastest win. It's not about having a degree, it's about staying curious. Let me paint a picture. Imagine two people dropped into the same economy tomorrow. One spends their nights watching Netflix and scrolling TikTok, the other spends 1 hour a night studying investing, marketing, or automation. A year later, they're living in different worlds, not because of luck, but because one used their free time as an investment. Knowledge compounds just like money does. The more you learn, the more you can earn. And that brings us to the next difference, how the rich and poor use time. The poor spend it, the rich allocate it. Everyone gets 24 hours, but the rich see it as currency. They automate what they can. They delegate what they shouldn't be doing. They focus only on high-impact activities. The poor spend hours doing $10 tasks because they think they're saving money. The rich hire someone else to do those tasks so they can focus on $1,000 ideas. That mindset shift alone can completely change your trajectory. Now, let's talk about something almost no one mentions: environment. The poor surround themselves with comfort. The rich surround themselves with challenge. If you're around people who normalize overspending, laziness, or negativity, you'll absorb it without realizing it. But if you're around people who talk about business, freedom, and growth, your brain starts playing at a higher level. Your environment silently programs your limits. The rich understand this. That's why they pay for mentors, join communities, and attend conferences. They know proximity is power. There's a quote that says, if you hang around 5 broke people, you'll be the 6th, but the opposite is also true. Spend time with 5 driven people, and you'll start moving faster just by association. Here's another secret. The rich play long games. The poor chase quick wins. The poor think in paychecks. The rich think in decades. They're not looking for what pays off tomorrow. They're planting seeds that grow next year, 5 years, 10 years from now. That's why rich people love ownership. Businesses, real estate, intellectual property. They know real wealth takes time to mature. Meanwhile, the poor are often trying to double money overnight, gambling, flipping, chasing hype. But every shortcut skips the lessons that create lasting wealth. The rich understand that compounding doesn't feel exciting at first. It's slow, it's boring, but it's unstoppable once it starts. It's like rolling a snowball down a hill. At first, it barely moves, then, it grows, picking up mass and speed until it becomes a force that can't be stopped. And while that snowball grows, the poor are still at the top of the hill, trying to find the perfect snowball to start with. That's the paradox. The rich start small and get big. The poor wait to get big before starting. There's also a deep difference in how they define success. The poor think wealth is about having money. The rich see wealth as freedom. Freedom to choose how they spend their time, who they work with, and where they live. It's not the dollar amount, it's control. Some of the wealthiest people you'll meet aren't the flashiest. They don't flex cars or watches. They're quiet because they're free. Their life isn't about proving, it's about choosing. And maybe that's the ultimate separation. The poor chase status. The rich chase freedom. Here's what most people miss. None of this is permanent. The gap isn't concrete. It's habits you can rebuild, and you can cross it. Start in thought, then in daily choices. Learn new skills, and upgrade your influences. Wealth isn't a moment. It's behavior repeated over time. Learn on purpose. Skills compound like interest when practiced consistently. Don't react. Plan. Decide your time and money before the day begins. Save first, then spend what's left. Automate it so willpower isn't required. See possibilities, not problems. Run small experiments. Next, let's turn this mindset into action. You can start changing sides right now. Start tracking every dollar. Start learning about how money really works. Start building something small that you own, even if it's just a single income stream. Because one day, years from now, you'll look back and realize the moment your life changed wasn't when you got a promotion or a bonus. It was when you started thinking differently. If this video brought you value, take a second to like it. It helps the channel reach more people trying to build freedom and purpose. Comment below with one mindset shift you're making starting today. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Quit the Rat Race for more videos on wealth, freedom, and the psychology of money. Remember, you don't have to be born rich to die rich. You just have to stop repeating the habits that keep you poor. Because the biggest difference between the rich and the poor isn't luck, talent, or opportunity. It's the decision to take control and never give it back. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor.